Good evening, everybody. Matt M. Roy back once again. I see we have 6 people here so far, starting this right at 7. I was just sitting down on my bed watching some Boston Legal, show that I really love to watch at night, kind of relaxes me. Let's see, Stephen Barber's praying. So is Alien Tech, George Blakely, Hired Gun, and Eric Brunhammer. Thank you, everybody, so much for your prayers. They're much appreciated right now. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes to let you guys in on some information that I got the past few hours. So I want to give a chance for some people to get here. I'm actually wearing a shirt. If you notice here, it says Mayapack on it. Well, it's kind of inverted, but this is one that I got when we were up at the wedding. Mayapack refers to Mayapack, New York. So Aunt Lorette, if you're watching this, you'll appreciate this. I'll tell you a funny story about this shirt. When I got it home, I had 2 of these. I had an extra large and a large. This is the large shirt. When I got home, this shirt, the large one, had this mysterious white powder on it. Even after I washed it, all like around the side here and on this side, like the breast area, had all of this white powder on it. And I was afraid that the shirt was ruined. I didn't know what the heck it was. So I washed it again, and luckily it finally came out. And I found more of it all over my LeSabre, because this had been in the trunk of LeSabre since we went to my uncle's after the wedding. Come to find out, I think what it was is some talcum powder had spilled out from somewhere, and that can be a bear to get out, but luckily I was able to do it. I put in a little bit of the OxyClean with the detergent, and that enabled the washer to get the stain out. William McCullough says, prayers for strength for the family and for your dad. Thank you very much. It's been a little iffy the last couple of days. Excuse me. My throat is very dry. We're dealing with some pretty nasty weather here right now. We've had pop-up storms on and off the past few days. The humidity is up, the temperature's up. It's just altogether been very, very nasty. And I did remember to bring my water, because this kind of weather dries my mouth out. Much, much better. All right, so we have 10 people here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the story is, yesterday my dad went in for a routine check at his back doctor. Basically the doctor that looks at the, a few months ago he had the back surgery. She was going in to get that looked at, and the doctor wanted to make sure everything was healing up nicely. And as part of the check-in process, they do your vitals, so your blood pressure, your heart rate, and they take your weight and height usually. Well, they noticed that his resting heart rate was about 159 beats per minute, which is really high. That's about where you'd want to be if you were like running a marathon. So they immediately sent him over to our GP. And our GP took a look at him and basically called for an ambulance to take him to the emergency room, which is, believe it or not, the way our area is, all 3 of these doctors' offices were in like a mile or 2 of each other. So it was like boom, boom, and boom. So we actually got to him just as he was about to leave the doctor's office the GP's office to go to the emergency room. So we followed him there. I went with Mom in my car. We followed him there. We left his car there. And he was in there for, it had to be a half a day at least. They were doing, all the different tests they needed to. They did echocardiogram, chest x-ray, pretty much everything they could do to rule out something really major, like a blood clot, maybe like a blockage somewhere. They had him hooked up to an IV to basically lower his heart rate chemically through the drugs, and that was keeping it down for the time. So what was it? Maybe about 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday, they finally admitted him to the local hospital. So that's the fourth medical office he was sent to. In this case, was the hospital, the local heart hospital. Um, they were they were throwing around a lot of different words for what he had. They said he had a heart flutter, and then they said something about possibly it being AFib. And it turns out after a lot of different tests, that's what it wound up being. And I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably heard about AFib and know what it is. But for those of you that don't, AFib is a irregular heartbeat that affects, I think it was 1 out of 4 people over the age of 60 was what Mom looked up. So my dad's over 60, so he had basically a 1 in 4 chance, or basically a 25% chance of getting this. And unfortunately, he was the 1 out of the 4 that did. Now, it could have been brought on by the surgery. That is a possibility. Or it could just be something that is happening in his body. And what it is, it's a problem with the electrical impulse. His heart is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with his heart. The problem is the signal coming from the brain to his heart is messed up somehow. In other words, your brain controls a lot of functions in your body involuntarily, including your heart. So what's happening is the brain is sending the signal for his heart to beat too fast. So what they actually have to do is through different drugs, through different medications he can take, and it basically lowers it that way. Now, there's every bit of chance that the AFib will clear up on its own. I have some other relatives that have it, and it just sometimes goes away. Like a month from now, he might be perfectly fine. He may not be an AFib. So what does this look like long term? Long term, this is actually good news, because out of all the things that it could have been with his heart, this is actually the one that is more easily treated. So he's doing just fine. He should be back home tomorrow morning. We're hoping that we were hoping he was going to be released tonight, but unfortunately they really needed to keep him in for observation. So hopefully he'll be coming home tomorrow morning sometime. We'll get a call. We went over about 2:30, 3 o'clock today. We were going to go in the morning, but they were doing a lot of different tests, and there really wasn't any point. So we decided just hold off to the afternoon. I'm doing all right, Stephen. It's been a real roller coaster the last couple of days. I really haven't gotten as much sleep as I should have, but I'm doing okay. Mom and I were just really concerned. We had no idea, again, until today exactly what it was. There are a lot of buzzwords being thrown around, but no definitive diagnosis, basically until he saw the cardiologist this morning. Tyler says, almost forgot the stream. I was sleeping. My TMJ is so bad. The painkillers they got me on wear me out, and I'm praying for your dad. Thank you, Tyler. We'll be praying for you as well. I know that can be really bad. I get TMJ from time to time, and it's really, really debilitating sometimes, the pain. I will tell you one thing about TMJ that I found interesting. Sometimes, at least in my case, it's allergy related, especially this time of year. So what I'll do is I'll take a couple of Benadryls at night, diphenhydramine, and that'll actually help it out a little bit. It'll clear the eustachian tubes. You guys have probably heard me talk about that, the tube that goes from the ear to the mouth. That can put pressure on the jaw and actually cause the TMJ. It can cause your jaw to go out of alignment. And basically what the diphenhydramine or the Benadryl does is it'll dry you up, and it'll actually help that problem. It'll actually, I'm not going to say it's going to totally clear up the TMJ, but it'll hopefully help to remove the pressure, and therefore it'll also remove a lot of the pain. Jonathan Grindle, I hope your dad gets better soon, man. Also, I was wondering, is Goodman any good for an HVAC system? Well, I'm not going to talk too much about that because honestly, I don't know. We've had ours for a few years now, and it seems to be doing okay, but I really don't know a lot about HVAC systems. You're probably better just to talk to somebody in the industry, somebody that you trust. Tyler says, mine is stress, and thank you. The muscles in the jaw won't loosen up. I'm on muscle relaxers. Yeah, it's not fun, TMJ, and I'm just scratching my nose. It itches right now for some reason. Another thing you can try, you know those wand massagers that Brookstone used to sell before they went out of business? I have one of those, and if my TMJ is acting up, I'll get one of those and I'll literally massage my jaw with it, and that seems to help. All right, Spider Guard, I thank you for joining the live stream really quick. Please, and if you're a Christian, please pray for my father. He definitely can still use the prayers because we're hoping that the AFib does clear up on its own. Again, we don't know if it will, but it's a possibility. Yeah, he'll be coming home tomorrow morning. We're hoping, and we'll have to watch him because he's going to be on some new medications, and he can probably take care of that himself. But I want to make sure that he feels good. We need to get him one of those oximeters, I think they're called, and pulse rate monitors. Let me pull it up real quick because I don't want to tell you guys the wrong name. It's called a oximeter, blood oxygen meter, and heart rate monitor. If you go into the doctors, it's one of those things they put on your finger, and it measures your oxygen levels and your heart rate. So basically, he's going to have to use that 2 to 3 times a day. Focus. Probably once in the morning, afternoon, then evening, to make sure that his heart rate stays down, because the danger with AFib is if your heart rate goes from fast to slow, like he might be 1 minute, he might be at 150 beats per minute, another minute it might be down to 80. The problem is when it gets really high like that, you get worried about strokes, and that's what a lot of people with AFib have to be careful with. You can actually stroke out very easily. That's why we need to get one of these for them. And they're not that expensive. This is one that I'm looking at right now on eBay. It's an FDA fingertip pulse oximeter, and it's $11.49 with free shipping. Let me see if I can shorten that up. Where is that? I got it. I was looking for the URL shortener so I could share that link with you guys. It's being stupid right now. There we go. I don't know. It's not working right now for some reason. But anyway, you guys can look it up on eBay. It's not that hard to find. Yeah, I bet Amazon has them too. I don't know why that's not working. It always used to work. Let's try it again. I think the website's kind of being wonky at the moment. Come on, URL shortener. There's like a whole bunch of these things, and they're really good. Here, let's try the Google one. That might work. The Google one is giving me a 404 error. Wouldn't you know it? Come on. Well, anyway. About how long can an internet outage last? Depends on how good, or in some cases, how bad your internet service provider is. Usually not more than a couple hours or so. That's about as much as I've seen. Oh, okay. It looks like this is a broken link for some reason. Come on. Unable to shorten. It must just be too long. Oh, well, it was a good try. I-36 says, I feel better tonight. I was really stressed Monday night, and Tuesday turned out to be a really, really bad day. I was logged in under Chris Garrett, paused Dukes of Hazzard to watch you. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm telling you, the best thing I found for stress is exercise. And I'm not just saying that because I like exercise. I do like exercise, but it really makes you feel better, not just physically, but also mentally. Believe it or not, when you exercise, you release endorphins in your body that actually elevate your mood. So next time you're not feeling good, go for a walk. I mean, even if it's a short walk, any little bit of exercise will help. Yeah, Eric, I saw the pictures you sent me, and I apologize. I know a lot of you guys have been trying to send me personal messages. You've been trying to get a hold of me, but realize right now I just can't answer but a few of those. With everything that's going on, it's just too chaotic right now. So if I'm not getting back to you right now, please don't feel like I'm avoiding you. It's just because I don't have the time at the moment. But hopefully, as Dad gets home, starts feeling better, things calm down, then I'll be able to answer more of your questions and comments. We got 17 watchers and 6 likes. That's fine. I figured a lot of people probably watch this in post production. I just wanted to get the information out there to let you know what was going on. So I know a lot of people had been asking. I had hinted about something happening through Facebook before, but I wanted to get the okay from Dad to actually do this video because I didn't know if he was okay with me letting everybody know what was going on, and luckily he was. So maybe what we'll try to do is either tomorrow or the day after do another live stream or just a regular vlog with him in it so you guys can talk to him or you guys can see how he's doing. It seems like everybody's so stressed out these days. And Eric, I see Eric, you're telling me you've been stressed too. I hope everything's okay. You know, it's just the times that we live in now. And I can't say that it didn't happen in years past because it did. I mean, in the late 80s, early 90s, when you had the recession, and then, of course, around 2008, the housing crisis, everything like that will stress you out. But now with social media taking up so much of our lives, everybody feels like they have to be connected through social media. And if they don't answer this person, they feel like they're obligated and they feel guilty about it. It just causes too much stress in our lives. The way I look at it is I enjoy interacting with you guys on YouTube. This is my preferred way to do it. Some people like to blog, through private blogging sites. Some people like to use Twitter, like our president. But this is the way I like to do it because I can get a lot of questions answered and get a lot of information out there at one time. And it's not that I'm trying to avoid a lot of people. It's just that my time is valuable. Not just my time. My time is valuable, but so is yours. And if I can find a more efficient way to get that information out there to you guys, that's what I'm going to do. Eric says, dude, I've been ready to walk out on my job. That's how bad it's been. I, Being in retail, and I'm not going to say exactly what you do, Eric, so I know you probably don't want me to, but being in retail, myself, most of my working career, I know exactly what you're talking about. For those of you that don't know, I've worked in many food establishments. My first job was at Old Country Buffet during high school, and then I put myself through college, partly working at Sonic, the drive-in, for 4 years, and then I moved on to Best Buy, which I'd say out of the three, I think Sonic was my favorite. But I could tell you some horror stories, but that's not what this video is about. But I just want to let you know I feel your pain, believe me. Eric says it was a stupid thing Tuesday. Cardboard barrel at work bail busted. Oh, and it took an hour to clean up. It. I work a big retail grocery store. People let it get too full. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That had to be hard to pick up. I mean, if the baler, if you had to pick all that up individually, I remember years ago, when I lived in New York, we had a store called ShopRite, and they had one of those big cardboard balers in the back. And I remember how big it was. And when those things were full, they were 2 stories. Like that thing would go up to the second floor. So I can imagine if that busted open, I wouldn't want to be the one to have to clean that up. Everything's going to turn into the movie Wall-E. Maybe eventually. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make light of your situation, I-386. I get it. I mean, I've been there before. Not with that, but I'll tell you a quick story. When I worked at Old Country Buffet, I am klutzy by nature. That's just part of my condition. And I was the dishwasher. And at the end of the week, once a week, we would take the salt and pepper shakers, put them on one of those racks, and run them through the dishwasher. I was just getting ready to leave, just getting ready to leave for the night. And what we did once we finished washing them, we would take the salt and pepper shakers, leave them on the little rack we put them through the dishwasher in, and we would put them on the buffet because they'd have to dry overnight. Well, wouldn't you know it, as I was putting them up, I dropped it, and I must have broke over 50 salt shakers. And I was beside myself. I honestly thought they were going to fire me because, I mean, it probably wasn't a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but I didn't know if they had replacement ones. Like, I literally could have shut down that restaurant. Can you imagine if they didn't have any replacement salt and pepper shakers? I could have shut that restaurant down for a day or two until they got them. Well, not really, but that was when I was in high school. That was like my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just totally screwed up. So I get it. You know, we all do things that we regret, stupid things, but we're only human. It's going to happen. The best thing we can do is not let it get to us that much. I mean, like the stress of knowing that my dad was in the hospital, not knowing what was wrong. I mean, that was really bothering me. I was honestly getting pretty sick to my stomach. And then I just kind of relaxed and said, you know what? I'm going to pray for him a few times during the day. I'm going to ask other people to pray for him. But for the most part, I'm going to put it out of my mind because you know what? Worrying doesn't add a day to your life. Quite the opposite. Worrying can actually take days away. So there's just no point in worrying, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you. Chris's Tech Channel, $2 super chat. Thank you. He says, hope your dad is okay. He is. He's on the mend. And we'll give you more updates once he gets back home. Talking away, and I need more water. Brad Smith said, I had a friend that worked at Best Buy, and 3 guys got him screwed and fired. You know, it'll happen. That's basically what happened to me, but in my case, it was management, one particular manager. Jonathan Grindle asks, is the video of the Mac Pro in the works, Matt? Sorry to bug you on that. I'm going to let you know right now, there will not be one. Unfortunately, that Mac Pro wound up having some pretty serious issues. I had thought originally it was only a bad hard drive, but it turns out there were some issues with the motherboard, so I wound up having to sell that for parts. Hopefully in the future I'll get another one, but I have no luck with Macs. I really don't. And that's why I try to steer clear of them. Because it seems like every time I get a Mac, whether it be a MacBook Pro, a Mac Pro, you know, a laptop, desktop, an iMac, I always seem to have problems with them. That's right, William. It says, put it in God's hands. This is what you have to do. We're only human beings. We can only do so much. I mean, you know, if you let things get to you that much, there's no fun in living. All right, Eric, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Oh, excuse me. So I've been eating a lot of 15 bean soup, so it comes out of the attic and the basement at times. My cat's howling. Baxter! Baxty! Baxter kitty! Come here, bud. Come on, Baxter. Here he is. You guys want to say hi to Baxter? Come on, bud. Come on, Baxter. Come on. Come on. Oh, big boy. If you heard that howling in the background, it was him. What you doing? What you doing? He misses Dad terribly, by the way. Ever since Dad went to the hospital, he sits out at night. He howls. He lays on Dad's recliner because usually at night he'll be right on there with Dad. He usually stays on the arm, and Dad kind of pets his cheek there. Doesn't he, Baxty? He'll be home tomorrow, bud. Animals are very intuitive. I'm telling you, he knows when one of us is gone, or all of us, especially this one. Milo, maybe not as much, but at least Baxter is your more typical cat. Very, very intuitive. Isn't that right, big boy? He'll let me hold him like this for a good while. You purring? You purring? Good kitty. He's such a stinker. Let's see, we got 17 watchers and only 7 likes. Oh, we can get a few more likes than that, can't we, Baxter? I think we can. Yes, I do. There we go. See, you always give me likes. I know a few people got here late. My dad is coming home tomorrow. He's been in the hospital for a few days with AFib. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but he is on the mend, and he should be okay. What you doing? Everybody wants to see your face. How come you're scutchy? Look at that face. That's a big cat. If you guys have not seen his body, look at this. That is one big kitty cat. Baxter. Come on, Baxter. Come on. Sit. Good boy. Come on. Sit. Good, Baxter. There he is. What you doing? Oh. It's okay. Sit. Come on. Here we go, Bax. Here we go, bud. Yeah. Say hi. Can you say hi? Nope. Okay. It's about as much as you're going to get from him. I thought maybe I could find another angle, but nope. He won't allow it. No, do not push on that keyboard. Lynx for a pet? I know they're illegal in some areas. I doubt they are here. Virginia's really strict about that kind of stuff. Though, oddly enough, in my city limits, and I say it's a city because it is a city, you can have chickens now. I mean, I could literally put a chicken coop out back with 10 to 12 chickens, and the city would be perfectly fine with that. Though you can't keep sheep. A friend of mine tried to keep a goat in his backyard, and they didn't have any of it. The city told me how to get rid of it. But chickens are okay. Yep, chickens in the city. It's more of a suburban area, but technically we do live in a city. It's odd. I know. It's weird that the bylaw people would allow you to do that, but they passed that law maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Baxter can be a lap cat if I hold him like a baby upside down. Now, if I just put him on my lap, and he would not lay down there. No, he would go right off. But if I hold him and kind of just put him down in my lap, yeah, he's usually okay with that. Yep, Eric's here. Oh, you got a better connection, huh? Oh, just to show you, I am still wearing that Fitbit Blitz. This is the one that I picked up at the garage sales this past Saturday. One thing I've noticed, and you guys can check this out for yourselves, but if you go to garage sales, a lot of people are getting rid of their old Fitbits. They may be getting new ones for birthdays or holidays. You know, maybe they got a new one for Christmas and they're just getting rid of them now. But these still sell, and they will sell really well. Now, this one I'm going to keep because I needed one. But give you an example, I gave $10 for this, and this is a Fitbit Blitz used. You can still sell these for $60 to $80. The brand new ones are pushing 200. So just a quick tip: if you guys are going to garage sales, on top of the other items I've been telling you guys to look for, to keep an eye out for Fitbits. Now, the Blitz is one of the higher end ones. You can get ones like the Alta, which is the one that my mom has. That's the one that has the little screen on it. This one does a little more. This one will let you set individual types of exercises. It'll track your bike rides. It'll track a run. It'll track if you're doing weights or a treadmill or even an elliptical. So the Blitz is definitely the better one to get, but you can't always find them. Actually, this is the first one I've ever found at a garage sale. I-36 says, I wish I had some livestock like chickens. I would like to have a horse also. Wouldn't we all? They're fun. I think a horse would also help the anxiety issues, but I don't want unless I have a big enough barn. Yeah, you got to have the right accommodations for animals that big. If you don't, they'll eat you out of house and home. And you need to have the financial means as well. All right, everybody, that is it for this live stream. I am very, very tired. I got the information out there that you guys have been needing to hear. Please keep praying. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.